We are no longer scoring from a 0 to 30 basis. Your scoring today is going to be based, or tonight, at this very moment, in this round. And the scoring in this round will be based on simply 1 or 2, those 2 numbers. Make sure you're using your flipboard. You only need 1 of your flipboards now. So you're going to be picking either poet number 1 in this final round, or you're going to be picking poet number 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You got it? So you're not scoring anymore. What's going to happen is going to have both of the poets come up here for an epic competition, rock, paper, scissors. They're going to decide who goes first after this epic competition. And then they're both going to perform. And then after they both perform, the judges are going to choose either the first poet, which is number 1, or the second poet of the round, which is number 2. Judges, we got it? Audience, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Are y'all hyped?
Yeah.
All right, I feel like y'all are like halfway there, but we're about to play rock, paper, scissors. I know y'all heard me first time. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay? Serious business. All right, call it the stage. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Before we call it right to stage, I want to make sure that we show a lot of love. We had 6 poets in that second round. We moved on to 2, but 4 of those main poets are no longer being in this competition. I want to make sure we show them love. So y'all, show some love to D-Rod. Show some love to Liz. Show some love to Black the Brat. And show some love to Scorpio. Now that Black's out of the competition, I can say she was my favorite. That was great. Good job. With that being said, I would like to call to the stage our final 2 poets of the night, Eddie Figures and Ali. Are y'all ready? So, to make it clear, this is how this is gonna go. We're not doing best of 3. Straight shots, 1 shot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Alright? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. You got it? All these young people be like, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Y'all want to do this? Are y'all ready? Audience, y'all ready? Woo! Y'all ready? Alright. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! Alright, Eddie Fingers wins. Who should go first? Ali's gonna go first. Clap it up with your first poet in the final round.
Up to heaven, bones and bamboos. Cut it out. This is the terrible part of the song. Cut it out. It's real. I'm still giving me shit. The bread and butter, how many niggas in the garden? Dangerous.
Second mic.
I think he loved poetry more than he loved her. Because he put his hands around these microphones more than he hugged her. And he tries to convince himself that the reason he performs, her. And that one day the sound of his voice will pay the bills, and if she'll just believe in his poetic skills, then there's no telling what the future holds. And he won't have to work 9 to 5 in somebody's office cubicle. And for those who thought his college degree was his key and ticket to wealth, they couldn't understand why his economic diploma just sits on the shelf and his resume makes no mention of the extensive knowledge on theories of supply and demand, but yet it says he's ambidextrous because he holds the mic with both hands. And he's ripe for a slam. And his pen paces the page the same way he graces the stage with style. He sees and seizes the opportunity with each crowd. Meanwhile at home, his favorite part of the day is kissing his kids and saying daddy's going to work. Sometimes daddy goes to work with a briefcase. And sometimes it's a book bag. And that briefcase has papers and documents, but the book bag has CDs. And to a kid, UCDs can be quite confusing. Especially when the parents always argue over poetry and music. And daddy's always talking about some big picture, how mommy can't see it. And the kids think they know how daddy feels, because when watching baseball on TV, they're like, look, he's right there, and mommy still can't see the big picture. And she's like, that's not what he means, you don't understand. And she contemplates leaving her man. Because he puts his hands around these microphones more than he hugs her. And she swears to God that he loves that art form more than he loves her. Because he's always going to someone's open mic. But he explains that if I sell 2 CDs tonight, then I'll buy a pack of diapers and wipes and 7 to keep the phone on. So hold on, because Def Jam might be calling. And he was aware of the show when his daughter started crawling. And to tell the truth, he'll probably miss her first steps of walking and words of talking. But somehow a better tomorrow should mean it's all worth it. And when shopping, you won't have to worry about how much money's in your purse. And who knows, this next verse might be the one that gets the house purchase. So hold on. And this ain't just some poem, but the autobiographical of every poet that traveled from briefcase to book bag to open mic, from briefcase to book bag to open mic, hoping tonight might shine some light in open minds, and just maybe, there's a record exec that'll see his future in spoken word, prose, and rhymes. So when I grab these mics, my soul is crying, and it don't matter if I bust my butt at a 9 to 5 or stand on stage spitting it line for line. I'll do it for the household, to keep the bills paid and the lights on. Just give me 3 minutes in the slam and cut this mic on. I'll take it from here. And as for my family, I'll never love poetry as much as I love them. But I don't want to join the ranks of those with dreams deferred, living in the land that he could have been, and he should have been. So when I speak these words, I'm like birds flying south for the winter. Final destination unknown, but I know that I got to get there. And this moment ain't passed yet. So hold on, or at least don't let go, is what I'm asking. Because the better day gonna come, or I wouldn't be writing this. And sooner or later, we'll live in a world where the briefcase is not a requirement. And I ain't talking retirement. 40-hour work weeks plus open mics at night is what inspires this. Daddy goes to work tireless to provide for his own. And no matter how many times I grab this mic, it'll never compare to the hugs that I get at home. But I don't want to work with a briefcase for so long. So be patient as I give that book bag a chance. Now hold on.
All right. Calling your second poet. Judges, y'all got that? Version in your mind? Calling your second poet in the final round. Clap it up for Ed Finger!
Go ahead, Eddie. Talk your shit.
It's Christmas 2017. Puerto Rico had just survived the worst hurricane in its history. What did not survive was my grandmother's roof. No almost with the inside, but her kitchen still stands. You see this magic space where the ancestors break bread. She's cooking what food she has left for the friends and family that have gathered outside. They're brainstorming on how to take the crumbs that FEMA had given her and somehow stretch it into a brand new roof. She screams out in Spanish, "Ah, the yams are burnt. They came out black." She then smiles and says, "Just like the chef." The smile that carries centuries of ancestry. She gives me the same expression you give a child that's about to open up a birthday gift. You see, this is the first time I've heard my abuelita celebrating the color of her skin. I come from the southeast mountains of Puerto Rico. This area where slavery ran the heaviest. You see, in America, it was illegal for the races to mix. Not for us. Where I'm from, when we say we're black, Spaniard, and indigenous, we mean what runs in these veins. Not centuries ago, not Elizabeth, I'm 198 Cherokee. No, it's today. You see, our slavery was just a bit different. There were ways for slaves to win their freedom, including if you had 10 or more kids. So when you see Puerto Rican families, 10, 13 deep, that comes straight from slavery. You see, slaves were fed coffee before grabbing the machetes. I'm from where families still have machetes in their homes. Where coffee is a passed down tradition. My abuelita can make a café con leche so strong, it'll start your car for you. You see, at one point, more than 3/5 of Puerto Rico was actually African. The Spaniards wanted to whiten the island, so the natives disguised their traditions. Festivals for African gods and now for Christian saints. Then the U.S. took us from Spain, sterilized a third of our women, declared it dangerous to let us vote, and to this day, we are still governed under colonialism. We are still taught to self-hate, to identify as Puerto Rican only, that her is black. You see, my cousins be confused. Don't know what she is when people ask, sees beauty in her skin, marks black on the census. Her mother says, how dare you? Can't see her own black roots. But when she was younger, her dad couldn't pick her up from school. No one believed he was her father. They each had different skin color. Question, what's it like to be Puerto Rican in 1960s America? You see, colonialism will produce bleach by mixing tears with self-hate. It's been scraping people off islands for centuries. It has families scraping color off their skin. But you can't scrape the Africa out of Caribbean soil no matter how much blood you use. But you can still hear them in our tongues. In our bachata, our merengue, our salsa. I have an uncle named Chavito Prieto, which means black penny because his skin dark as a black penny. When he harvests food from the mountains, he doesn't say, look what I grew. He says, look what the mountain gave me. You see, it is the Yoruba and the Taino that make this culture. But ask my blonde blue-eyed auntie about racism. She'll tell you when she first got a job at 17 in Ponce, she worked in a factory amongst dark-skinned Puerto Ricans. They pulled her off and put her in the boss's office. One weekend she goes to get a tan, sees her mother come through her skin, gets back to work, and her boss said, if you ever let yourself get that dark again, I will fire you. If I ever wanted a black girl in my office, I would have put her there. She'll tell you when she was first introduced to my late grandfather's family, their response was, oh, finally a pretty one. To which my abuelita screamed, oh, my children are beautiful. So when my abuelita says her skin is black, and then she smiles, when she stands in front of a window and the sun gives her a hug from behind, when the sun's rays lay on her skin like it came back to its favorite home, I say, mi negrita bella, you are beautiful just the way that you are. And to that poet who said that I'm appropriating blackness, even though I'm Mexican, in my poems, I am not Mexican. I am a Hibano Puerto Rican, a Caribbean child, descendant of West Africans, and Taínos Morinque. I am Spaniard, indigenous, and black. Puerto Rican culture is black culture, and blackness don't stop at the border.
Keep it going, Randy, baby. Keep it going for Ali. Keep it going for yourselves. We made it to the final of the Poetry Slam, y'all. Y'all did a good job, man. We still got most of our audience. Pretty good. We must have a good show. All right, y'all. Eddie Fingers, Ali, and my main man Curtis, Don Davis. I just made that up. That don't even make sense. Y'all.
Wow.
Come to the stage. Come to the stage. Oh no, to the down there. Like the dot, like the person in the hospital, I guess. Maybe. I'm not good. We got it. We got it. Judges, where we at? We got our judges? Judges. Y'all, these final two poets are in your hands. I would like to remind y'all, y'all are the gods of poetry tonight. Nobody can tell y'all shit. You have Jen Summerdays personal protection plan. So feel free to vote however your heart feels and desire is. With that being said, judges, you're going to put either up a 1 or you're going to put up a 2 to decide which one of these poets is going to walk here. The champion of the night and $480, Richard. $480. We added $10. We added $10. We had to make an 80 number. All right. Y'all ready? Judges, on the count of 3. Well, I'm going to go on the count of 1. I'm going to go backwards. So on the count of 1. All right. 3, 2, 1. And your winner for this night's Poetry Slam is Ali! Ali, do you have anything you'd like to say to the people? Where can they find you and your stuff?
It's nice being here. This shit is nice.
Come to take more. I'll say if I stop taking our money. All right. Ed, you got anything you want to say?
I appreciate what y'all got going. All right. As I angle myself for the tall positioning of the mic, thank you, Dennis Amadeus. All right. By the way, congratulations to Dennis Amadeus. He came through to Orlando yesterday, and he won our Exit 36 qualifier. Congratulations. Absolutely dope. But this is a good. I love this venue. This is what, like the second time I've been here, so the vibes are always good here. I appreciate this, and I want to get some ice cream next tour because that ice cream looks damn good. By the way, y'all judges, if I would have won, I would have bought y'all ice cream, but I ain't getting shit.
All right, y'all. Oh, you want to say that?
I just want to thank everybody for coming out. We have more events. We do this every second Friday of the month. We also have a monthly open mic. It's every third Tuesday of the month at the Lime Tiger spot in Soho. And you can follow us to keep up with all of our different shows at GrowHouse Tampa. We have flyers with our next coming shows on it. So yeah, follow us at GrowHouse Tampa on IG. Thank you so much for coming.
Also, I just want y'all to know we cut these flyers out ourselves. Okay? We cut them out ourselves. So please make sure we don't have any flyers. Take these flyers. Even if you're going to give them to some random person, take the flyers. Alright? We also have stickers. We don't have full stickers. Follow us, GrowHouse Tampa on IG. Thank y'all so much for helping.